Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And one of the worst reviewed games of this generation, Gollum, the Lord of the Rings game that nobody wanted, nobody asked for, and nobody seems to like, could potentially be getting a follow-up. Probably not a Gollum game, but another Lord of the Rings game, because the company behind it has been given millions and millions to produce another Lord of the Rings game, a grant.
Why? Oh, a grant.
A grant.
Wow, that's okay.
So we're gonna talk about this, and then we're gonna talk about how game developers feel really bad for the team behind Gollum.
Oh, let me guess. Some people worked really hard on that. Look, I get it. I get when people say they worked really hard on something, and and I can see where you can respect the work, but not like the product. And I'm tired of hearing that as an excuse of why you can't criticize things or why you can't call out shit for shit. Well, someone worked really hard on it. Well, speaking of shit, people's digestive systems work really hard on that, but you don't see people applauding it. I'm just like, you're allowed to say something's garbage.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like it's just a small group of people. This is a fully staffed game company working with millions of dollars or euros, working on a high profile, one of the highest profile fantasy franchises in existence.
Yeah, it's not an indie game.
No, this is not an indie game. I mean, I'll give a pass to indie games. I'll give a pass to like indie comics or something like that. That's a small team. But when you've got this many people working on something that's this high profile, there are certain expectations.
I know, but I understand you should appreciate the work. I don't think that should be an excuse of like, well, they worked really hard. Because like if you go to a restaurant and get food poisoning, I'm sure they worked really hard on it.
They worked really hard on making sure you almost died.
I'm just like, here we go.
All right, so let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
We do have Clownfish Gaming. We have not played Gollum. I'm debating whether or not we should play Gollum.
I said that, and Squid King goes, I don't want to give them any money. And I'm like, but we'd probably make more money than we'd give them. And he said,
we probably would, yeah.
He said, I don't care.
All right. So first we're going to talk about the potential follow-up here. So Gollum developer appears to have been funded to make another Lord of the Rings game coming from Games Radar. A follow-up to Gollum could be on the way. Now, I do not believe it's a Gollum game, but another Lord of the Rings game.
Well, maybe they learned lessons and it'll be better.
Do better. Well,
maybe it will be.
So, a German publication called Games Wirtschaft. I'm
no idea.
Spitballing that one. Wirtschaft. Daedalic Entertainment seemingly has another Lord of the Rings game in the works after Gollum. They received a grant of over 2 million euros from the German government to work on another Lord of the Rings game.
Well, I mean, 2 million isn't a whole lot, though.
Well, then it's going to be about as good as 2 million.
Right.
It's going to get you. It's going to be a bargain bin title. What's more, the German outlet has been able to confirm that none of the funds from this subsidy have been used in development of the Lord of the Rings Gollum game. That means the 2 million euros are deliberately being used for another project. According to the grant filing, this is probably going to be, specifically another Lord of the Rings game. So they're getting another shot.
And it wasn't used on Gollum, so there has to be another game.
It's going to be Tom Bombadil. They cut him out of the movie. It's probably going to be like a musical adventure or something.
No, I don't think so.
The Adventures of Tom Bombadil. I can't wait for that. So they said the new project could launch as soon as August 2024. So that gives them, a little over a year to crap something else out. If the details of the grant are accurate, that's obviously assuming no delays or other setbacks like quality control before the ongoing project. And since Lord of the Rings Gollum was delayed numerous times, might be best to take this projected
date. Yeah, they started this last June, it says. So almost a year ago it started.
Oh my God. So here are game developers coming to the defense of Daedalic Entertainment. They said nobody wants to ship a bad game.
Then don't.
You guys
all say that. Nobody wants to do it. Yet you do all the time. And then you're like, well, we'll be patches later. Just don't.
This is, there's some people making comments in the comments. That's usually where you make comments saying that they've shipped bad games. They ship bad games as carts and CDs. Yes, that's 100% true. There have always been shitty video games. The difference now, though, is that I think there's more willful attempt to string the consumer along because they know they can patch it. Before it's like, okay, we do the best we can do. We ship it out. If it's shit, whatever. But now we've got games that will literally crash your computer, crash your console.
Well, I was thinking back like before the video game crash back in the 80s or whatever. They had every game they were shitting out games right and left, and they were horrible, like E.T.
Oh yeah.
There was that one that would chase the chuck wagon. I mean, it was like they were just trying to hurry up and cash in.
Oh yeah.
And that's what some of this feels like. Like, oh my God, Lord of the Rings is popular. Video games are popular. Quick cash in. And I mean, that might not be the intention, but that's how it comes across.
Yeah, so did they like hurry up and get this one done so they could get to like the real game, or what's going on here? So Squid King said that this company is not known for doing these kinds of games at all. This is totally out of their wheelhouse. You know,
you should have had him on this video.
Yeah, right. So why
He's still in bed.
why you would hand what? Well,
he's up now. I hear him.
Why you would hand off such an important franchise to a studio that doesn't have the kind of experience necessary to handle it, and why you pick Gollum of all characters is beyond me. But we've got again, you know, the difference between then and now. And I do agree that there have always been shitty games, but the difference between then and now is that the developers know that they're not locked in. You know, before it was like whatever was on the disc, whatever was on the cartridge, that was it. Now they're like, well, we can fix it in post.
Right,
you know, so we can just ship whatever out, and in 6 months, eventually.
And like we have this one person about, I display my lowest scored game because I'm proud of the time working. That's cool. Yes, I agree with you. You have to fail a lot of times to succeed. That's a fair thing to say. That being said, it's a difference between failing on your own and failing on other people's money. If people are waiting for a game, you promise one thing, deliver something else. You could have said, hey, it's not there yet. People can get mad, I'm not going to lie, but they'd have been a hell of a lot less mad than what they are now.
Yeah, so Sonic, I forgot that was even a thing. I forgot about most. I think I've deliberately forgotten that most 3D Sonic games exist. Sonic Mania was good. That was a pretty good game. But this is Danny Carlone. Regardless of the score, every project has positive lessons learned.
Agree.
That's true. You learn sometimes it's better to just run away from the company you're working for.
It's like some of these people, the lessons they should have learned was, hey, we shouldn't release this.
Yeah, and look, I get that now games, are a much bigger deal than they were back in the day when you could have like a dozen guys and girls working on a game, get it out the door. Now you've got like hundreds of people and millions of dollars.
I'm sorry, they all keep saying this. It's reasons outside anyone's control. Well, granted, if you work on the game and the studio decides to release it, you can't control that. But the studio can decide to say, hey, this isn't where it should be, and we should hold off, and you don't. And they all keep saying, lessons learned. Well, I'm sure people that paid $60 don't care if they don't want to pay $60 for you to learn a lesson.
Well, I think in the case of Sonic, if it's a 3D Sonic game, everybody expects it to be shit, so I'll give you a pass there.
No, but I'm like, they're just like, make a lesson learned. I'm like, tell us all the people who spend money on it.
Well, yeah. See, then this is the problem, too, with the game development being such a complicated thing now. You don't have a small team, so you probably do have top-down decisions that are just effing stupid, but these companies are shipping games that are half-baked. Again, if you bake it, and it sucks, then that's whatever. But you don't willfully be like, okay, here is a bag of cookie dough. I swear I'm going to come back and I'm going to bake those cookies eventually. But you might get worms if you eat the raw dough.
But you go ahead. Here it is. A lot of people bringing up these examples are ones who brought it out as that it wasn't for updates. It was a complete something. But they're talking about this. A lesson learned. A long time ago, I learned a lot. No one sets out to make a bad game. No one says that they're setting out to make a bad game. What we're saying is that people paid a lot of money for this game. It was bad, and it shouldn't have been released in the way it was released.
And these are, with the exception of Sonic, and again, nobody expects anything out of 3D Sonic anymore. Okay, that ship has sailed. I think if somebody said, "Hey, you want to work on a 3D Sonic game?" I'd be like, "Nah, I'm good." All-Star Karate is not exactly a household name like Lord of the Rings, And it's still got a better score. It's a 46.
I know, but they learned a lot.
But you learned a lot, So that's the thing. Like I get, you don't want people to get thrashed, but I'm also like, you were given the responsibility of one of the most popular fictional worlds in history.
If you promise a premium product and you charge a premium price, you better deliver that product. I mean, premium price for this, $60. It is with a big franchise. People aren't expecting, and then you sent pictures out that look like one thing. You know, you just can't do that. I'm sorry.
God, he still looks like a naked child. It's creepy. So, you know, here's the thing too, though. Gamers they tend to be impatient too.
That's true.
One of the best examples I could think, I mean, there's a whole debacle, and I've mentioned it before, and it's too long to get into in the video. But the situation with Mighty Number 9, I think it was shipped sooner than it should have been shipped because everybody was complaining because it was a Kickstarter.
Oh yes, most people complain,
and they were complaining, and it's like, God, if the game had like another year, I think it could have been better. But they also ran out of money. They mismanaged money. It was a whole thing. But a lot of times what happens is like even the gamers are like, this needs to come out now. No Man's Sky needs to come out now.
That's
Where
true,
is it?
which is why
Where
they
is it?
released early. And I mean, that's
know?
true too. I mean, look, there's a lot of reasons why this happens, but the whole argument that everybody tried hard, I don't disagree. People try hard. I totally understand where you're coming from when you say that. But the flip side is I'm so tired of, well, you're not supposed to criticize anything because someone tried hard.
Yeah. Yeah, so
we try hard in these videos, and here you are in the comments.
We get
you haters.
You get down votes, but we learned a lot.
Yeah.
Actually,
we learned. Fuck you. That's what we learned.
We learned to ignore a lot of criticism because a lot of it just like it's obvious when you start to look into it that it's like you didn't even watch the video.
No.
You know? We had people. It was so weird. We had people popping in the comments. They're like, "Well, Clownfish, when are you going to defend the poor Target employees that are being harassed in your next Target video?" I'm like, next Target video?
We haven't done any Target videos.
What are you talking
That's
about?
not what we do.
We haven't covered Bud Light. We haven't covered Target. I'm not going to on this channel. What? So I'm like, yeah,
I
copy
just think
paste.
it's funny, but we worked really hard, so you can't criticize us
We
at
worked
all.
really hard on complaining about things that you like. So you can't say anything to us. Plus, she's a woman.
That's right. Tits. Anyway, no, I'm just
Plus
saying.
tits, yes.
I'm just saying, you know, look, I get they tried hard, but they should have tried harder or pushed it back.
Be better.
Be better, yeah.
You need to be better.
Yeah, that's how everybody feels when they look at this game. Like,
He's just taking a shit and putting
he's just like, what? Oh yeah, but it's
putting it in a Blu-ray case and
hard.
shipping it as is.
He worked hard on that shit. Anyway, we done.
Shit and ship. That's how they do it. We're gonna shit and then ship it and then patch it later.
Well, hopefully they do patches. It works better. But people were saying that they got the review copies. It wasn't even usable. That's something else. They weren't even usable copies.
Okay, see that is the fundamental.
Like Cyberpunk, they had that problem with PS4. They weren't even usable.
That's the fundamental difference. I think because a lot of times these games are shipping half-baked or not even baked, yet they're breaking the consoles, they're breaking the PCs. That did not happen. When you put Chase the Chuck Wagon in the Atari, it was a piece of shit, but it didn't blow the Atari up. It did work. It just wasn't a good game. E.T. worked. It just wasn't a good game. These games don't even work.
Until they patch it. Don't release it.
Yeah, that means, obviously.
Anyway, now we can wrap it up.
There
you go.
All right, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye. Sorry, I yelled loudly.
That's okay. I got the limiter on.
Okay. So
you can tell
my setting.
Yeah, you can
Wait,
tell.
really? It automatically limits it when I yell?
It does. When the pitch gets too high, it does. Sometimes if you sound like all robotic, it's because it's bringing the decibels down.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.